Welcome to Manifest Abundance. This is a 12-week series where we apply metaphysical principles into the world of abundance and prosperity so that we can really create this incredible future that we really have the sense that we're thriving. So today we're diving into our blueprint, the money blueprint specifically. So really looking at what has us operating the show, like what's really taking charge when it comes to money. And I'm going to be asking you a series of questions that you can really help identify what your blueprint is, with the intention that when you see this blueprint and it comes to the surface, we then have the power to choose whether it's serving us or not. And if it's not, what can we do around it to be able to break free so that it's not running the show, that you are running your show? So today, I really want to see that or show that our money blueprint, first of all, is a lot of it inherited. Like it's not like we consciously chose what's going on. We really were born into something. So when we were born and we grew up inside of the circumstances that we were born into. So the parents we had, the schooling, like if you really start to look back at life, there were influences that were happening and we were just there to absorb it and make quick decisions on it. And so before you know it, here you are, and you have all this past that has been laid out for you, and we've made certain theories and decisions, and kind of like, this is how life is because this is what's happened. And today I really want to clear up that, yeah, that ha- and guess what, also available. Doesn't mean how it is forever. On that time, where we were, the decisions we made, and outside of all that, there's so much more. There's a realm out there that is available. That's what we're talking about today. So in order to really get clear on our blueprint, I'm going to ask some questions, and they're for you to really sit and ponder and start to see, like, what has gripped you, what has you kind of like, what's really running the show. And then outside of that, like, how can we really create something new? So let's start examining our money blueprint. So the first thing we want to do is really look at what we say is true about money. So that when we say what we say is true about money, that means we're pretty solid in that belief system. We're pretty clear, like that's just the way it is. So if you have a story that money is difficult to get, money is difficult to hold on to, it's hard to save, I never have enough, it's a struggle, I have to work hard for my money, all of that stuff is our money story. So ask yourself, like, what was it like growing up? What did your parents say about money? What was your experience around their conversation around money? Like, do you have a flash of your parents fighting around money, or the stress that came for writing checks, or was money just always available and you didn't have to work for it? Like, whatever that is for you, just take a note. Okay. And how do you feel around money? That's another place we want to look. So do you have an experience of, like, when you're paying the bills, or when you open up the mail and there's a bill, or what's your experience around having to pay for certain items? Are there some bills that are easier to pay than others? This is all just a place to look at, like, when we have a higher feeling around something and we have a pull in that has us feel like uncomfortable, that just means that in that space there's something going on right there for us that is where we can look. So the goal being that we have a full freedom to be around money, knowing like true space of clarity around money in the metaphysics world is that we can be with that money flows in and money flows out, and that we trust that there is always what comes in goes out, and what goes out comes back. So like there's just this space where there's an ease and effortlessness. So that's freedom right there. And that space where we can sit and just be with it all. That's the goal. If there's any sort of corners that you're going to touch that start to make you feel anxious, that's what we're really working on today, because that's showing that there's a blueprint there that's getting us a little bit stuck. And so all we're doing today is just noticing and noticing. If I get anxious around going to the mail to open my bills, then that's a place for me to just take a look at what's going on there. What stories do I have around that? And inching our way closer to really seeing that any place that we have a stuck of energy means that there's some sort of story wrapped around it. And when I say story, I mean that word very intentionally, because what is a story is there has been an experience there and we've made it to be true when perhaps it's not. So one of the best sayings is not necessarily so. So, well, bills are uncomfortable because of X, Y, and Z, because I never have enough, because. Well, what if not necessarily so? What that term not necessarily so does is it injects a new space, a potential of a new way to feel in that experience. So as we start to identify our blueprint and we start to examine where we start to get these hot points, and then we start to be able to give it a little bit of breathing room in those spaces, allows for a new something to emerge. So it's a process. And when we start to get inside of those uncomfortable places and just be with it, this is where the magic happens. Because inside of that space, whether it's giving yourself 5 minutes to just sit with that feeling, be with it, allowing that place to just be, gives it room to breathe. But then what also happens is once it has room to breathe, a new experience shows up. But you can only have that new experience show up when you give it the space to be. So whether it's an emergence of a new realm, and it's available by giving it space. Now, this new realm that comes up is going to emerge from you, and I can't tell you what it is. It's going to be for you and you alone to discover. But giving yourself that space to be with these feelings, these heightened feelings, will have you see something new appear. And that's the gold. That's the gold you want to sit with and write down, capture, because once you discover it, that discovery is for you and you'll never forget it. It'll be birthed inside you, or however you want to say it. It's like it'll become part of you because you discovered it. If it's just something I tell you, it's information and it's great, it's helpful, but there's something around discovering something new that is actually what I'm pointing to today. So it's not about reading another book. It's not about talking to someone and getting it. It's about just allowing it to come from inside of you, is the process that we're working on today. Another place that you can come to this space that I'm talking about is really looking at the end result. So if I start to share with you, like, what is it you want to create? Like, what is that for you? So back in episode 1, I had you write 100 things you would like to manifest. So go back, reread all of those. There's something in there for it. There's this feeling that you get, this this like around the corner. There's something just around the corner feeling. And we want to start to feel that feeling. And there again is this emergence that will come that only you will be able to discover. So like, what is that feeling for you? And you want to like sit with it, be with it, and allow it to come up, because that's the space we're working on. This space that I'm talking about is abundance mindset. There's a realm that's available when we let go of our own belief systems, constraints, concerns. When all that washes away and all you're left with is just this trust and surrender and letting go that all is well, all will be well. And you just have to come up with the how, the why and the what. And the universe is like, I got your back. And when you're in that space, we are in a realm where we are now co-creating with the divine. And what gets set in that realm, that blueprint, the one of trust, surrender, and belief, and pure intention, knowing exactly what you're creating, where you're going. That's what we're talking about today. And so it takes the letting go of something. So the question is what is it? What is it you got to let go of to be able to connect to that space? Another great thing would be to, get in the world of abundance. So what cars are, what around you symbolizes abundance? Could be a beautiful home, beautiful cars, like, I don't know, whatever that is for you. And it's like, so what is it? What is it that you have that symbolizes abundance? And then when you can close your eyes and be with all that, like, what does that experience feel like? And if there's any resistance, that's where we can tap into the letting go, shifting our mindset so that we can be with all of it. And so, yeah, so what is that for you? So I can, as I'm talking, I can hear this, like, really slowing down and checking in and being with, like, what's going on for me? What's going on for me? So that back to that observer mode. Other questions, I'm just gonna pulse out some questions here that you can then ponder, just to really tap into the money blueprint today. So what questions are, what messages did you hear about money growing up? And was talking about money taboo? Was it open? What were the earliest memories around money? How did it feel when you were given gifts? There's money, talk about birthdays and giving and allowances. Did you feel empowered or anxious, indifferent? How are you handling money now? Are you comfortable? Do you avoid it? Are you a saver? Are you a spender? Are you a mix of all of them? What do you think about wealthy people? Do you admire them? A little bit envious, resentful? What's your belief around your earning potential? The amount that you make. What if you were to add an extra, double it? Does that make you uncomfortable? Does it inspire you? Like, what's our limit here? Just really stretching ourselves. What's the story you tell yourself about your financial future? And what kind of relationship do you want to have around money? And ultimately, that's the one that we're working on, is what do you want? How do you want it to be? So that's part of the bigger picture, is whatever we want to have is ultimately our intention. And getting really clear what it is that the relationship you want to have, and making that, like, put it on a sticky, making it be your focal point so that you come back to it. Because if that's where you want to go, the only thing that's in your way is a little bit of time and our belief system. And we can work on the belief system while we're generating that intention. So with all that, you have a lot of homework to do, but these are all great prompts to be able to just really tap into Where are you at? What's your money blueprint? So we can start just really getting that. That's just a limited belief, and anything that we are limited by, all we have to do is just create some intentionality, create possibility around, and allow the universe to take care of the rest. So with that, have a great week. We'll see you back here next week. Thanks.